Okay. No, that's my forehead. Wait, is it? Focus. Yes. All right. Great Reformer. I am Fedra, and welcome to another episode of The Fedra Show. Today, I am here in my brand new office. Yes, I have an office now, and not back in the old place. The old place didn't cover monsters.
Neither does this place, genius.
Well, because of that stuff back in April, Joe and I had to move, which is why I haven't been releasing videos. Sorry about that. But I have now set up cameras all over this apartment. And hopefully, I might even catch some monsters while we're at it.
Fedra, no monsters in the house. Why is this so hard for you?
Oh yeah, and excuse temporary change of scenery. I'm building a new office.
Really? You're building it? It's not even an office, it's a set.
Okay, she's building the set.
Thank you.
I'm helping! Anyway, while she's slaving away in there, I'm doing the most important thing known to mankind. I'm talking about Christmas!
Dashing through the snow, in a north of a sleigh, o'er the fields we move, left being Louis.
Most people, when think of the winter holidays, think of Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's, Halloween, for some reason, sometimes. You know, some people even seem to think that there's a holiday in between Halloween and Christmas. But trust me, there's not. They're lying. Out of all of these, however, it seems like Christmas is the one that we here in the West, at least I assume it's in the West and not just here in the US, go nuts over. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's like the heffalump and woozle levels of all over the place. It's on billboards, TV, the internet, shops, movies. Heck, even people on YouTube have started weird YouTube-y Christmas traditions. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Vlogmas. Look, imagine if your friends talked like this. Oh, hey man, you doing any fun today? Well, today I relaxed and watched some Christmas specials. Oh, okay. And I sipped cocoa. Okay. Oh, yes. And then I went out to market because we ran out of tape while we were wrapping Christmas presents. And then what ended up happening is we decided it would be a great idea to go Christmas caroling. And because we went Christmas caroling, well, while we were gone, our house burned down because it took so long to carol that the turkey burned. And now my mum and my dad and my grandfather have all burned to death along with everything we've ever owned. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow for Vlogmas. Huh? It's kind of creepy, right? Dumb YouTube trends aside, however, Christmas has had its own share of weird trends too. For a while, the only Christmas specials people would watch were claymation, and not including the Grinch. But now you hardly see claymation. Not only that, but nearly every show has done one or even several Christmas specials. Some of these animated specials are sadly overlooked, or maybe sometimes skipped, in favor of classics like Frosty or Rudolph. But while those are good and timeless, and everyone loves them, including myself, the shows I'm going to mention in this list are a bit more modern, and in my opinion, are classic in their own special way. Here are my top 7 underrated and animated Christmas specials. Number 7. Bah Humduck, A Looney Tunes Christmas. Bah Humduck was originally much higher on the list. I mean, at the number 2 spot, actually. But after viewing it again, I still think it deserves a spot on the list. It's just not as high. The plot is fairly straightforward. Daffy's the CEO of a big department store, and he's the Scrooge of the title. And with a title like Bah Humduck, you know it's basically a Dickens parody, which honestly works really well. All of your favorite characters are there, and it's really funny to see them in another setting besides the farm or the woods or that weird opera that they were in that one time. Anyway, the main focus here is on Daffy Duck as Scrooge, Bugs as our walking, talking troll of a narrator, and Porky and his daughter as Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim, respectively. I love the Disney adaptation of the Dickens classic, and the Muppets one too. But this is really just an episode of Looney Tunes with a Christmas skin. If you like talking, slapstick, and a literal scene of toilet humor, yes, Daffy gets flushed down the toilet, it's actually kind of funny, I think it's pretty great, and everyone really should check it out. You know, the best part of it, however, has got to be the ghosts. Holy crap, are they funny. The way they abuse Daffy is really freaking hilarious. He gets thrown around. They aren't really the sweet and serious ghosts you know from the originals or from the adaptations. The best part of this movie really is the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, and the build up to him is so funny. Daffy is so scared and freaked out by him, he lets Bugs Bunny, who has been trolling him this whole time, hide him in various places. This classic scene is done the same way it's done in most older Bugs Bunny cartoons, and it's still funny. But especially funny given the context of the Ghost of Christmas future. It's like he's trying to hide from death or something. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it's a really funny scene. All in all, it's a really decent movie, and I really want more people to see it.
Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we move, left behind on the way.
Number 6, Wacko's Wish. Okay, technically they don't mention Christmas, but this special clearly oozes Christmas. Wacko is one of the Warner Brothers, and this special is a continuation of the show, Animaniacs. I use the term continuation loosely because much like Looney Tunes and Tiny Toons, there is a collection of shorts with an ensemble cast and a whole lot of jokes. So a continuation would just be more of the same, which this is. In it, Wacko wishes on a star to get an operation for his sister Dot. Call her Dottie and will you die? And suddenly, an angelic Ben Stein shows up and launches the wishing star over the mountains. Yes, I'm not making this up. The first person to get it receives one wish. This sets off the entire snowy village of Acme Falls to go and find it for themselves. I know I said Christmas themes were everywhere, but when you have 100 people fighting each other to get one thing they think would truly make them happy and selfishly beating each other up and racing to be the first one, that reminds you of something else. Whatever could it be? All of the pretty snow animations, though, and the fact that the Warner Brothers doing all of this just for their sister Dot is honestly really touching and very Christmassy. Is that a word? It's a word now. I'm using the word Christmassy. It's not really groundbreaking animation or anything. It's still more of the same, but it's still really good and decently funny. The biggest thing that holds this musical back, yes, it is a musical with classical music dubbed over with lyrics, is a lack of humor. I know, Animaniacs can't be funny. What? But I'm used to laughing from start till stop in Animaniacs, and somehow this special is less funny than most of the episodes. It's not bad, it's just not as good in my opinion. Honestly, most of the problems I have with it are due to it being a feature length. If it were trimmed down by even 1 or 2 musical numbers, I think the flow would have been perfect. It would have matched the show in tone and probably contained more jokes. Still though, this special is phenomenal. Just not as great as some of the others on the list. My girlfriend also made the observation that you should probably see a few episodes of Animaniacs if you've never seen the show before. And I agree with that. Some of the jokes are in-jokes and meta-jokes based on the characters, and that's awesome. I love that kind of humor. And so me, being a fan of Animaniacs, it works really well. All that being said, I still love the special, and I wish more people would rediscover it.
Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we move, left behind on the way.
Number 5. The Arthur Christmas Special. Alright, I know what you're thinking, but just hear me out. This special is about Arthur the Aardvark and his friends and family going through the different winter holidays. Arthur, for those of you who don't know, is based on a series of children's books with anthropomorphic animals written by Mark Brown. The show is designed to teach kids about dealing with problems in the real world, and this special approaches it in the same way. The problem in this special here doesn't really focus on Arthur very much, however, even though some of it is about him. It's actually built on how him and his friends deal with their family, their friends, and their own personal problems during the holidays, and all the troubles and joys that come with it. There are so many great aspects to this special. One aspect of it, it doesn't even focus on Christmas for part of it. I got to learn about Denmark and their Festival of Lights, or that Kwanzaa isn't actually celebrated on Christmas Day. You know, one of the characters I really like is Buster, Arthur's best friend. Buster Bunny, yes, he is a rabbit, lived with his mother because of a divorce that happened before the show began. You know, as a kid, Buster always helped me to be able to relate to my friends going through similar things like divorce, or even helped me know how to deal with the loss of a loved one. And this special is no exception in teaching kids these lessons. Buster's mom keeps worrying about Christmas and keeps trying to make it great even though his dad isn't there. The problem is she wakes him up weeks in advance. Every morning the same thing. Wake up, make pancakes, time to open presents. Mom, it's not Christmas. This cycle clearly exhausts and stresses Buster out. Then he decides to help his mom out and just enjoy a relaxing day together with his mom. That's only one aspect of the special. Heck, that's only one subplot. But back to Arthur himself, he actually doesn't have as big a role in this as I would have expected. Arthur freaks out about getting gifts, and he runs around the mall like a maniac trying to get the perfect one. But then he ends up breaking it, and I love his imagination sequence when he's thinking about all the ways this could have gone wrong, and oh no, everyone's gonna hate me, I'm the worst son, I'll be kicked out, I'm just like my terrible crazy uncle. Oh yeah, the uncle. I have to mention Arthur's crazy uncle. He's really funny. Well, maybe just to me, but still, everyone's got that crazy relative, am I right? Arthur then ends up breaking it, like I said before, and, well, his relatives are crazy, his friends are annoying, and this special is great. I highly recommend you unleash your inner kid and check it out. Also, be forewarned, if you watch it, this song will be stuck in your head.
Tina, Tina, tiny, Tina, 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 tiny, Tina, Tina. That's the song.
Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we move, laughing all the way.
Number 4, the Garfield Christmas Special. Okay, Garfield's one of those characters that everybody can relate to, but me. He's a cat with a cynical disposition. Garfield is the cartoon cat featured in newspaper funny since I was a child, since my parents were children too. With Garfield being so popular, it's little wonder he had his own TV series. No, not that one. Because of that series, we have this special from the year 1991. The plot is fairly simple and loose and involves John taking his 2 pets, Garfield and Odie, back home to the farm. You know, something I gotta say is that Garfield is a great opposite to John, even if I don't like the cat too much. Every time John gets excited about Christmas, Garfield just has one counter after another as to why it sucks. They make it there, however, and do a bunch of Christmassy things with John's country family. Coming from a background of mostly being around country folk, I'm actually surprised they didn't play this for laughs. I really admire that because a lot of my friends and family from back home live out in the country, live out in the woods. And it's really cool to see this special taking that seriously and not making fun of it. I admire the special for that. There's one thing, however, that makes the special get a spot on this list. And it's not the humor, which, like I said before, Garfield is usually more miss than hit for me. Or the songs. Most of them really are not good, and a few are just passable at best. Now, the thing that actually puts this above the others mentioned so far is this one scene with Garfield and John's grandmother. Everyone calls her Grandma, and Grandma is a great character in her own way, and really shows the effect of aging and how people treat those who are elderly. She feels alone, isolated, and every time the family's together having fun, she leaves to go off by herself and just rock in her rocking chair and stare out the window. It's a great but sad depiction of what growing older is like. This scene takes place when Garfield jumps up into her lap and the grandma begins to tell him about her husband. It's a very emotional scene, and I remember being really sad as a child watching this, and I couldn't explain why. The grandma continues to talk about the great time she had, but how she misses him around the holidays because he's not around anymore. Now, me as an adult, 16 years later, with a grandmother who struggles with dementia, and I see those effects every time I go home for Christmas. And I'll be honest, I teared up a bit. Even if you don't like Garfield, skip to the 15-minute mark and just watch this scene. It is well worth your time, and definitely earns its catnap on this list. Oh, that was awful.
Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we move, laughing all the way.
Number 3, Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas is a follow-up to the 1999 classic Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Made in 2004, this special uses CGI rather than hand-drawn animation. The story is actually 5 different stories of various length, and 3 musical numbers. The first short is the weakest, and it just feels like House of Mouse leftovers. I won't spend much time on it. Minnie and Daisy are trying to upstage each other in an ice skating contest. It's really dumb. I hate it. Daisy acts like a spoiled brat, and Minnie's not much better. I honestly hate this version of Daisy. She's just so mean and vindictive and spiteful, when in the other shorts, she's just smart and interesting and funny and nice to Donald and understanding. Where's that Daisy here? All she wants is to be a prima donna. Again, this one feels like it was aimed for a much younger audience, and I don't blame people for not watching past this short. Trust me, I get it. It's really in contrast with the rest of the film. The next 4 shorts, however, are actually really good. The next one is a literal episode of DuckTales. I love it. They even mentioned the swimming pool with its own submarine. Let's solve a mystery. Let's rewrite history. DuckTales. Woo! Sorry, that song's gonna be stuck in my head for days. The story is that all of the ducks, Daisy, Donald, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, are all staying at Scrooge McDuck's mansion, and the boys cause trouble. So, Scrooge lectured his grandnephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. I like saying that. Huey, Dewey, Louie, Huey, Dewey, Louie. Sorry. Lectures his grandnephews about being good, and that he never got what he wanted as a child, and became rich and bitter as a result of it. The boys are like, but you're rich, dude. That's awesome. But they soon realize maybe he was right, and so they head off to the North Pole to write their names on Santa's good list. Then they resolve to steal the key from Santa's office that unlocks the list. This, however, proves really difficult, and they end up going through a bunch of shenanigans and ruining Christmas. These little snots are so awful that they dig through everyone's presents just to get the key back that they lost, just so they can write their names on Santa's good list. These boys are the epitome of naughty. They basically cause mass mayhem and ruin Christmas. Look, I don't want to spoil the rest of it because honestly, it's a really great short and I hope you will see the entire thing. But they have a change of heart and they do something unexpected. I won't spoil what it is. I want you to see it for yourself. So I'm going to move on to the next short. The next short is about Max Goof, Goofy's son. Max comes home and Goofy is fawning all over him and his very serious girlfriend. It's mostly a musical number throughout, with Max feeling sad and embarrassed through different scenes, but eventually realizing his dad isn't that bad and his girlfriend isn't embarrassed or put off by his father's goofiness. This one's not nearly as good as the original Max and Goofy Christmas short from the first movie, but it really does its job well. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and honestly, it's a pretty quiet one. It's just a simple song that talks about Max being wrong about his dad, or his dad being annoying sometimes, and Max is kind of expressing himself through emotions. There's not much talking, there's just the song and Max. That's pretty much it. It does great, doesn't overstay its welcome, and if you're having trouble with relatives, I would recommend giving it a look. It might help you out or give you a different perspective, or just make you feel a little bit better about crazy people in your life. The next one is my absolute favorite. This one is another Donald Duck focused one. It's focused on Donald and how he just wants peace and quiet for Christmas, like I know a lot of us do. All he wants in life is to go home and sip cocoa in his big easy chair. But no, Daisy wants to take him and the boys out to go Christmas shopping, to go look at the Christmas lights in the mall and all of this stuff, and Donald wants to be by himself. I know this special is about how Donald learns the meaning of Christmas and all that, but honestly, Donald Duck is one of my favorite characters, and in this sketch, he really shines. The reason is because he just wants to be alone. He's introverted. He doesn't want to be out and about. He just wants to relax, and we can all relate to that. But by far, the best part about this special is the fact that that stupid song gets stuck in Donald's head for the whole thing. He hears it everywhere. The song is "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," and he just can't get away from it. Everyone's singing it, the blenders are doing it, the wind chime display, the cell phone guy, they're all singing the song or playing it in some way, and Donald's just going crazy. So crazy he snaps, and I'm going to leave the rest up to you to watch because this one is well worth your time. This last one is about Mickey decorating for Christmas, but for some reason he loves Christmas a little too much. In it, Pluto ruins Christmas and all the decorations by accidentally knocking over a punch bowl onto an electrical outlet. This sadly causes all the decorations to get fried and Christmas to be ruined. Mickey gets mad and sends Pluto to the literal doghouse, and I have to say it's kind of odd to see Mickey getting so angry about something. I was like, dude, take a chill pill. I've never seen you this mad. Anyway, Pluto feels unwanted and leaves town. He ends up at the North Pole and is adopted by some surprisingly funny reindeer. Yeah, I'm not kidding. These reindeer are hilarious. I kind of really want more of them. Meanwhile, Mickey is chased down by an insane snowplow and gets back home with not very much replacements because they got run over by said snowplow. I think. I don't know. The scene went by kind of fast. The point is, Mickey is left with the remains of the Christmas stuff that he had bought, trying to redecorate. Mickey is forced to scale back because of this, and he notices Pluto is missing, and calls everyone to tell them about it. This scene is really sad. The colors, the lighting, the music. It's just Mickey being really sad that Pluto is gone, and I felt so bad for him. But Pluto is also feeling down, and he's at the North Pole. He's at the North Pole until Mickey runs into St. Nick himself, and Santa reminds him about the meaning of Christmas and to go prepare for his friends to come over, because Santa has got this covered. Santa is somehow magic, I know, right? It's gotta be pretty obvious, and walks into the barn literally a second later to take Pluto home. So Pluto goes home for Christmas, and everyone's happy and singing at the end, all together for Christmas. As it turns out, though, the best part of this is that Goofy was the one driving the snowplow, because Scrooge was trying to find Pluto, just like everyone else was after Mickey called them. So yeah, Mickey was being chased down by a killer snowplow because Goofy is incompetent. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much, but it's really funny. I would definitely recommend checking this out, if only for the fa-la-la-la-lulls. Too much? Okay.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing away.
Number 2, Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Of course I had to talk about this one. And I know this one's more popular than the first one. I even called it a classic in the last episode, but hear me out. Every time I talk to people about this special, I get about 3 different responses. They're either like, what? Mickey Mouse has a Christmas special? Oh, I gotta watch that. Or, oh yeah, I remember that. That's a show where Huey, Dewey, and Louie are basically in Groundhog Day. Or someone else says, dude, I love that special. My family and friends watch it every year. Sorry, those are really horrible voices. I apologize. RIP headphone users. Based on these responses, I think it's safe to say that the special isn't as well known as people think. And because of this, it deserves a spot on the list. The plot is split into 3 stories, just like its sequel. One starring Donald Duck and his nephews reliving the day repeatedly. The other one is about Goofy and Max debating about the realness of Santa. And the last one is a retelling of the Gift of the Magi with Mickey and Minnie. The plots don't connect at all, and they don't need to. The one most people know about, though, is the first one. I assume because most people don't make it past the first one, just like the previous special. This one is the one where Donald's nephews wishes it was Christmas every day. And so it is. The same Christmas day on repeat over and over and over. I've heard it called the kids' version of Groundhog Day, but I don't think that's quite fair. It's like saying that Die Hard is Home Alone, but for grown-ups. I guess it's technically true because they're both in the same vein and same kind of story, but both are so different in their message that saying they're exactly the same is just plain silly and dismissive. Anyway, the reason I love this part of the special so much is because of the slow realization of the boys that they have been horrible, rotten kids. They also realize how much their uncle loves them, how much Daisy loves them, and how much Scrooge and the other relatives love them too. They don't realize how loved they are and how good they have it until they have too much of it. It's actually a really clever device, and I'm very happy it's in this short. Donald loves those boys so much, even though he's known for his temper. And after they ruin one of the Loop Christmases, we get this sad and depressing scene with no words. It's just really powerful with the broken tree and the dead lights. It's honestly like that scene with the Who's right after the Grinch steals all their stuff. Right before they sing, they're all just standing around quiet. And the Grinch is like, where's all the crying? Here, you're just like, where's all the crying? Everyone's just somber and sad, but they love each other, and that's what Christmas is about. But this one, however, is not my favorite. My favorite is the second short. Oh my gosh, I loved this short as a kid, and I love it now. This short stars Max and his father, the one and only Goofy. Starts off with Goofy trying to write a letter to Santa while Max scrolls with impatience, wanting to mail it quick. But the real meat of the story comes later when Goofy's neighbor Pete tells Max that Santa is an impossibility. How can one person deliver presents all in one night? Max clearly struggles with this and then thinks he knows much more than his dad and starts acting like a jerk to him. He thinks his dad is an idiot, like a lot of kids sometimes do, even if they don't know what they're talking about. Then, after that, Goofy and Max prepare to do something that just warms my heart every time I think about it. Goofy prepares an entire Christmas dinner for their next door neighbors who've lost their jobs. They have a lot of kids, and Goofy does this meal, even though he probably burned everything, even though he probably dropped things. We even see him dropping a turkey and getting his head stuck in it. But he still prepares this meal for those less fortunate than he is. And they go over and serve it to them, and it's just really sweet. But while there, Goofy tries to entertain the kids by bringing them gifts dressed up as Santa Claus. Max is excited for a minute, but then realizes his dad was Santa all along. I don't like the liar exposed thing, but it happens. It's actually pretty short-lived, however, and Goofy and Max then go home to try and spend the rest of Christmas the best way they know how to. Later in the night, you see Goofy trying to convince Max that Santa is real. He even goes so far as to build a Santa Claus tracking station to try and prove to Max that Santa is real. I'm not going to ruin the ending because I want you guys to watch it for yourself. It's a brilliantly done short, and it just shows how much a father and a son love each other, even if they don't believe the same things. Actually, this is a perfect allegory for things that are going on right now. It's one of my favorites because it shows that it doesn't matter what someone in your family believes or what they think or what their opinion is. You should and can still love them regardless of which one of you is right. Pretty topical, ain't it? Anyway, the last one I'm not a fan of. This special is pretty good for what it is, but I just can't stand Gift of the Magi. I don't know. I guess it's silly, forced, dumb. I'm just not a fan. The special, however, is actually pretty good for what it is. It's a decent adaptation. Plot's fairly simple. Two people trade things they love to buy something for the person they love because people are more important than gifts, blah, 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 PSA over. I know it sounds cynical, but this whole conflict is silly and could have been avoided if they just communicated. Now both are stuck with useless gifts designed around what they traded away. Okay, I'm sorry, the special. Right. Mickey and Minnie do that story I just mentioned. The only interesting bits, though, are the parts that aren't related to the Gift of the Magi story. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? What they're adapting isn't as interesting as the things they come up with. Who would have thunk it? The interesting bits to me are the things like Mickey going over to see Minnie before work. Minnie sacrificing food for her love Mickey even when she has a couple $1,000s in owed bills. Mickey being at his job, being nice to people. The owner of the tree lot being Pete, who I freaking love Pete, and he's a jerk. And Mickey being good and genuine and trying his best to be nice in a world that's not so nice. Minnie at her job working super hard and trying to get a Christmas bonus, only to be shafted by the manager with a stupid fruitcake. Look, all of these things are interesting and are about these two mice being good, genuine, hardworking, and honest. The Magi stuff, I feel, undercuts this by saying, if you don't get a gift for a person you love dearly that's expensive, then clearly you're not a good person. But taken all together, this special is absolutely phenomenal. I hope it continues to grow and become a household classic for years to come. So, once upon a time, you should watch Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas.
Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we woo, clapping on the way.
Number 1. The Phineas and Ferb Christmas Special. Oh man, this special. Its actual title is the Phineas and Ferb Christmas Vacation, but I always forget that, so it's the Christmas Special. First off, let me say, if you don't like Phineas and Ferb, you probably won't like this special, but I am going to try to change your mind anyway. Phineas and Ferb are two inventive brothers who spent an entire summer inventing, building, starting rock bands, traveling through dimensions, going into space, parodying Wizard of Oz, and King Arthur. They even started a zombie apocalypse at some point. And then they have to go back to school, but we skip over that part and go straight to Christmas Eve when the boys are waking up bright and early to start the day by staying in bed and turning their sleds into dual toboggans, deciding on a ski jump tower, building a snowman in the south. Okay, I'm sorry. Phineas and Ferb has a tendency to have great catchy songs that are stuck in my head for days and days and days. Anyway, they continue their day and run into their sister who's trying to find the perfect gift for her boyfriend. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I love their sister Candace as a character, but here, she's just so funny. She keeps laughing at them every time someone mentions Letters to Santa. And in the special about Phineas and Ferb saving Christmas, they mention Letters to Santa quite a lot. So in the background of most scenes, you just hear, ha ha ha, Letters to Santa. It's funnier than you think. They keep trying to prove the existence of Santa Claus using these cryptozoology pictures with Santa Claus photoshopped into them. That picture of Bigfoot in Oregon, that picture of the Loch Ness Monster in Loch Ness, but with Santa photoshopped there. It sounds stupid, but it's so funny. There's just something about Phineas and Ferb that I find hilarious. But anyway, on to the special itself and some more aspects of it. They have a pet named Perry, who is a platypus. Yes, a real platypus. Who is also a secret agent. No, I'm not making this up. This is the Phineas and Ferb, folks. And Perry has a nemesis named Dr. Doofenshmirtz, who's an evil scientist. Doofenshmirtz has a naughty-inator, which he's going to use to make everyone in Danville seem naughty. Which, honestly, is a great plan. Because then Santa won't stop and everyone will be sad and, I don't know, a moral victory, I guess? Or maybe it's an immoral victory. Anyway, the problem is he doesn't hate Christmas. Holy breaking of cliches, Batman, a villain who actually doesn't hate Christmas. How is that possible? All villains hate Christmas. He even writes an entire song about how the evil scientist community is going to hate him because he doesn't hate Christmas. And that's all he wants for Christmas. It's so strange and so great. But the Nader goes off and the boys have to convince Santa that Danville is actually very nice. But right before that, we have this great scene where Phineas just keeps waking up and saying, "It was all a bad dream. Christmas wasn't canceled." But then the cliche doesn't work, and his friends point that out, that no matter how many times he does it, it's not going to change anything. I don't know. I can't really describe this special. It's just Phineas and Ferb, but wrapped up and bowed up in Christmas. It's Phineas and Ferb at its best. It's Dan and Jeff doing what they do so freaking well. And it's all about Christmas. I love that they replace Santa on the run because Danville is branded naughty. I love that they build a giant antenna to try and get Santa Claus's attention. I love that the elves show up to try and investigate. These are all things that make sense in the world of Phineas and Ferb. And I'm really wishing that more people would see it. I know it's becoming a staple for people to watch it around the holidays, but I don't know how they take all these plot points and fit them all in 22 minutes. You have so many. What will the boys do? Will Danville become naughty? Will Perry stop Doofenshmirtz? Will Santa come to Danville? Will Candace get her boyfriend the perfect gift? But somehow they're all wrapped up by the end. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I guess the biggest complaint I have is there isn't more of it. I mean, Phineas and Ferb is at its best here, and I just want more. That's what a good Christmas special or any other piece of media does. It makes you feel something inside and hopefully leaves you with more than you came in with. And honestly, I feel like all the specials on this list have done that for me. With that being said, there are still so many specials I like and that I had forgotten about. But these are the ones that have stuck in my mind all these years and the ones I chose to put on the list. And who knows, maybe I'll do something like this next year if there's a demand for it. As for Phineas and Ferb, I would definitely put this one on your wish list. So everybody, that was my top 7 underrated animated Christmas specials. I know some of them might not be to your liking, so please tell me, what special do you guys watch during the holidays? I'd honestly love to find out more, because I really do want to make another one of these next year. But if you would do me a favor, please engage with the video in some way. Like, share, leave a comment. It would really help me out because of the way YouTube is now. So, with that being said, thank you for watching episode 2 of The Fedra Show. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy Hanukkah, a very great Kwanzaa, and a Happy New Year. And whatever else you celebrate, please enjoy the holiday with your friends and family. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. You know, speaking of videos, after looking at all these specials, I've thought of someone else who's pretty obscure too. I gotta make a phone call. I'll be back.
What do you want now, Fedra?
Well, what kind of bait do monsters like? Do you know?
Fedra, I've tried explaining this to you the best way I know how. I'm going to try one more time. Listen very, very carefully, because I'm not going to explain it again. The monsters you want to fight so badly are not real.
Okay, yeah, but...
But nothing. I am speaking. You will listen. You call me way too much about this. And I'm trying to help you to understand. Their world is like a colony of bacteria to us. Unimportant, invisible, and small. Well, not that last one. It's actually very big. Poke it too much. Release the wrong strain, if you will. And you doom all of us.
Yeah, but...
Your old house, the old SKL studio, were built on weak points in the universe. And your creativity, your putrid excuses for fiction, helped something poke its way through. But that was a freak accident. It will not happen again, and you will not try to make it happen again. Leave it alone. Don't mess with it. I am done discussing this with you. Good night. Now, I have reading to do.
Hello,
Ah!
Fedra.
Joe?
Well, sorta. Kinda. Dashing through the snow in a one horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we move, laughing on the way, bells and buckets ring, making spirits rise, but behind it to ride and sing a sleigh song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle bells.